Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Dream Real podcast. This is the place to be if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in New York real estate. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss another episode. We've got plenty of great conversations coming your way. Today's episode is a little different. We have a special episode for you today. Normally, our guest is the one asking the questions, but this time we're flipping the camera and we're putting him in the hot seat. You know him as our host on the Dream Real podcast, but Jason is also a real estate agent with Dream Select Realty, and he is the owner of a successful marketing business. He's passionate about helping people tell their stories, grow their brands, and now guiding clients through one of the biggest decisions of their lives, buying or selling a home. Jason, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. This was a surprise today. I came in, I thought it was going to be a regular day, and here we are.
And now you're in the hot seat.
Now I'm in the hot seat. Now I know how this feels. I'm more comfortable over there. I'm hoping this is my good side, though. I get a better.
You got all good sides.
Really?
You're
Oh,
good.
okay.
It's
LeVar
good.
said
Don't
the
worry about
opposite.
it.
He said maybe you don't have a good side. I think that's. But that's LeVar. So awesome. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, Jason, since you're usually the one that's asking the questions, let's start with your own story. How did you begin this journey?
Well, how did I start? So I was born and raised here on Long Island, and grew up in a family that wasn't very entrepreneurial. Everybody kind of traded hours for dollars, and did okay there. Didn't know a lot about entrepreneurship, but I knew pretty early on that I wanted to go that route. So I started in sales, first in finance, then I did move into ultimately technology. Started a digital marketing firm about going on close to 14 years ago. Design Me Marketing here. We work with clients, everybody from here local to, local startup businesses to enterprise level businesses all throughout the world. So that's been a great move. And we had an office in Bohemia, New York, and I used to pass this guy in the hallway. Seemed like a cool guy. It started out with a "Hey, how are you?" to a fist bump to a "Hey, what do you do?" Mm-hmm. And it was LeVar, right? So what's really cool is I see how Dream Select is growing. So much of that started with discussions right there in that little office after hours. Hey, you got a minute? Let's kick around some ideas. This podcast started in those discussions, everything from the name to the concept, and we're going over a year now, so we're going strong. So, yeah, I've owned the digital marketing firm. I've done other entrepreneur ventures. Mm-hmm. Locked arms here at Dream Select, and I'm definitely excited about the future.
Well, what inspired you to jump into real estate and work with Dream Select Realty?
Diversifying income for me. We had built the marketing firm to a good point of success. Real estate is something that I've always been interested in. I've always been told you'd be a great real estate agent, and I think a big part of that is a lot of my mantra in business, whether I go all the way back to when I sold cars to how I help clients on the digital side now, it's really serving them to accomplish their goals. And real estate is that, right? Definitely. You're meeting somebody at some level of moving their life forward, whether it's selling a home and going into a new one, or whether it's a first-time home buyer looking to get their first home. You can be part of that process, and to me, that's awesome. I remember when my wife and I bought our first home. It was one of the greatest moments of our lives, so it gives me the opportunity to be a part of that kind of over and over again.
So what's the biggest surprise or challenge that you found so far with real estate?
Well, I don't know if I call it a surprise, but like everything else, you are the turnkey. So yes. Balancing some of the other ventures in my life, the digital firm being one of them, and I also play a large role in nonprofit. It's a matter of you're going to get out of it what you put into it, right? So the challenge is the balance of being able to allocate the time to, one, make connections, and then two, to support the client. Now, that's not a challenge at all. When I engage with somebody and we're in the transaction, they've got 100% of my attention. I'm going to make sure that I'm advocating for them, fulfilling my fiduciary responsibilities as an agent. Thankfully here at Dream Select, we have a tremendous amount of support, not only here inside the office, but we've got so many great resources in the way of, and you see it on the show, right? In the way of mortgages, in the way of title companies, in the way of financial advisors, credit attorneys, credit repair. So that makes things easier. For me, in the beginning, it was all right, we've got the license.
Now what?
Now I've got to start, shaking hands, and like everything else, it's a matter of building relationships. But again, I say we've got such a foundation of support here that once that happens, the system here takes care of itself, and that's why we see houses selling. That's why we see happy clients, on a daily basis.
How are you going about using your marketing background to give yourself an edge in real estate?
Well, marketing is all about visibility, right? And the one thing that really drew me to talking to LeVar was he was already on board with using anything that needed to happen from a digital standpoint, right? People are making decisions every single day on the web, right? And not only the web now, but with AI, right? Leveraging ChatGPT, Google Gemini, some of these other engines now, or parts of these search engines that are answering questions. So I know that the experience that I have there, whether it be in pulling together data, right? Whether it be geographical data to comps, to all that. There's so many tools that are out there right now that can help us to fine tune. So I think that's what I bring to the table here at Dream Select as well. We have a lot of mastermind conversations in here as to how we can leverage those tools. And the marketing background of just understanding that, you've got to be visible. I think if I can say it, I see a lot of people get into this industry and just get caught as deer in the headlights, thinking that the opportunity is just going to come straight to them. It's not the case. You have to market yourself. And, my experience with leveraging the digital platforms is really the differentiator. But I can say that about this whole office because of the culture that we're building here.
That was always one of my things in the beginning too. Like just how you just said, you have to market yourself. And until I started coming here and meeting with you and LeVar, I knew nothing of that. So it's been awesome working with you both.
And look, you've been rocking it though. Right?
I'm trying.
I'm trying. Just being humble now. You do, and you're crushing it. And when I say crushing it, I mean you're helping a lot of people buy homes. See, that was a big turning point in my career. Right. I was in the car business. Right, and I knew how to close business, right? Yeah, basically wouldn't let you leave my table until you bought something. And then, but I was having moderate success. And then I had a mentor. His name was Terry Funderburk, and he's still down south. He's a Marine, and he didn't let me get away with anything. And he told me, Jason, you are not going to hit what you want to hit until you stop selling cars. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is my job. He goes, no, you got to start helping people buy cars. And that it's like a light bulb went off. Yeah. And I changed the way that I sold that day to not so much let me pull you across the finish line. Let me stop. And whether you cross the finish line or not, let me serve you right where you are. And in that, I went from, moderate, middle of the board salesperson to being number one in Hyundai sales on the East Coast. And it was like that. And it really, I think, laid a good foundation now, a little bit older, to if you lead with servitude, good things happen and you will close more business and you will build the right relationships. Because even people who didn't buy from me would send people to me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to hop on over to the podcast, the Dream is Real podcast.
Okay.
So you've been hosting the Dream is Real for a while now. Okay, what's been the most rewarding part of it for you?
Oh, I think for me, the most rewarding part is getting to meet so many good professionals, and honestly, getting the education. I'm sitting in the chair that you're sitting in right now, and there are things that I pick up from every episode that are really like tools getting put in my toolbox, right? To where now this podcast has helped me to better serve our clients here at Dream Select, because there are things that it's like, oh, I remember from this episode what this title company, professional said. I remember from this episode what we've had some where they were organizers that came in to organize homes. That
Yeah.
it's where you now, because of a 25-minute conversation, I understand staging better. Because if you ask my wife, you probably don't want me organizing furniture, right? But I picked up a few things from that episode where, I can, and if I don't know the answer, I've got great people that I can call. And that's what I think this has been really kind of the benefit of this in so many ways. It's connected us with a lot of great people.
So this question actually probably goes into a little bit of what you was just talking about, but are there any memorable guests or moments that you still think about?
Ooh. Memorable guests. Questions like that, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to leave somebody out.
Well, you don't have to tell their actual name or.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
We don't want to put
think.
nobody on the spot now.
Yeah, no, I've no problem. So I'm trying to think. We've had some. I like the ones that have some good stories behind them. So.
Right.
There was one episode where a guy talked about fixing crawl space, going in crawl spaces, right, and some of the weird stuff that you find in crawl spaces. But for me, when I talk with I've had several conversations with mortgage professionals that talked about individuals that thought that home ownership was never a possibility, and then through creativity, everything in between the lines, like it's supposed to, but helping them to not only prepare to get that financing, but to be able to get financed. Because I remember there was a time in my life where I was like, will I ever own a home? And, it took a group of individuals that were willing to help me and said, hey, you'll get a better rate if you work on these things. And I love stories like that where, kind of what we're passionate about here, helping people to see the dream of home ownership. Well, that happens at many different levels in the transaction. And so I would say some of my favorites are especially those who never thought that they could get financed, and then creatively a professional is able to help them do that.
That's awesome. So do you see similarities between building a podcast audience and growing a real estate business?
Similarities between building a podcast audience. Yeah, I would say it's about consistency. It's about consistency. It's about relevance, right? So if we have guests on here that aren't talking what's relevant to the community, it's not going to be successful, right? Exactly. In the real estate industry, it is changing. It's always changing, and every transaction is different. So you're going to come across things that you're going to have to leverage either the knowledge of someone else. You're going to have to do research, and I think both both kind of coincide that way. Right? You have to remain relevant. We've had our media team has done a great job of promoting the podcast, which is why we're growing by the thousands in subscribers, which is very cool. But in the same token, we can't just be turning on the lights every day here at Dream Select and expecting, folks to walk in the door. There are efforts that we need to do to create that visibility.
Yes.
Translate that over now into working with sellers, right? Just putting a sign out front's not going to do it. You have to leverage all of the tools available. And I think that's where it's all the same. Marketing is marketing, right? It's all about visibility.
So what's next for you in real estate, your marketing, podcast? What's next for Jason?
For me, I would say as far as my digital agency, it's staying at the cutting edge and making sure that we're riding the wave of AI, because it's kind of a scenario where if you're not, you use a surfing analogy. If you're not, you're either getting crushed by the wave, you're getting left behind by the wave, or you're riding the wave. And that's really what some of the challenges on that side have been, is just making sure that we're staying at the forefront of all that, so that we can, take our, client base and, continue serving them. And part of serving them correctly is understanding what the market is doing.
Yes.
So that's it there. From a real estate perspective, I'm particularly excited in helping individuals to find their first home, but also, we've got some really good insight into investment opportunities here. So I want to work with those who are looking to invest, help connect them with properties where that makes sense. So as I continue to move forward and build this part of my career, I'm going to probably gravitate strongly to that side as well.
That's great.
Which is right up LeVar's alley. So, and that's something that he's been, and that drew me too. You asked me before, which I looked at how successful he was in there, and I said, you want to get around. This is kind of a rule in any part of life. You want to get around people that are further ahead of you in a particular area, and if you want to lock arms with somebody who knows how to be successful in real estate, we're definitely in a good place for that.
Great. So before we wrap up, Jason, tell our audience the best way they can get in touch with you, whether you want to work in real estate, need help marketing, or just want to connect. How can we get in touch with you? Like
everybody else, I always have my phone on my hip, so I'll give you that. My cell number is 631-965-3392. I would say the best way to do that, you can call me, you can text me, and that goes for if I can help you in the way of real estate. Again, I've got that servant's heart where, I want to know what your goals are, and I want to pull together the right resources to help you to get there. If you are a business owner and you are looking to get better visibility for your business, and you want to better leverage the web, your website, search engines, paid ad campaigns, social media, that's an area where I can help as well. Again, I'll give you my number, 631-965-3392. You can check me out there also at designmemarketing.com. And then also, of course, not to step on your toes, but you go to dreamselectrealty.com and you can get in touch with us there as well.
Jason, it's been a lot of fun turning the tables on you today.
I was good with you, right? I was going to mess with you a little more, but I forgot. I got too busy talking.
Well, it was great hearing more of your own story this time around. And from a marketing entrepreneur to a real estate agent with Dream Select Realty to hosting The Dream is Real, you're proof that chasing multiple passions can work. And you bring energy and focus to each and every single one of them.
Thank you.
And to our audience, as always, if you enjoyed this special episode, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next inspiring story. You can reach us on Twitter at Dream Select Home or on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at Dream Select Realty. If you would like to be a guest on our show, please reach out to us at hometeam@dreamselectrealty.com. And until next time, keep chasing your goals because remember, the dream is real.